Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis Media once again, and time for the list that you guys have been waiting for. I certainly have been waiting for this because there have been so many damn good movies that have come out in 2017, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys about them again. And last year I did top 20. This time I'm going to do top 15 because again, there's so many good movies that I didn't want to leave out of this list, but unfortunately, not all of the great movies I saw this year are going to make this list. So I have to give a shout out to a few honorable mentions, which are Star Wars The Last Jedi, Coco, A Good Time, Thor Ragnarok, Logan Lucky, A Ghost Story, Wonder Woman, and Split. All these movies were absolutely phenomenal, but just didn't make my list. But anyways, let's get into it. I memorized these movies, or actually I'm looking at a list right now so I won't forget. Alright, but anyways, let's begin. Number 15, Wind River. Now, Wind River was a really big surprise for me. I did not know anything about it, so going into this movie, I was blown away by its visual story and Jeremy Renner's performance. It was just not too dark, but it was very well told in a very unique story, and its pacing I thought was very well done. And Wind River is certainly one of the most overlooked films I've seen this year. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Number 14, Stronger. This is another big surprise of this year. Stronger. Last year we got a movie called Patriots Day, and Patriots Day starred Mark Wahlberg, and it was about the bombing in the marathon that happened, I think, in 2013 or 14. And Stronger is about that too, except it focuses on one person. And the way it's told, and the direction of the movie, and the performance from Jake Gyllenhaal was absolutely amazing, and I highly recommend checking out Stronger if you haven't seen it. Number 13, John Wick Chapter 2. The first John Wick was absolutely entertaining, and the second film I think I might like just a bit more, and I cannot wait to see a third film. John Wick 2 was very well paced and focuses a lot more on action and fun and John Wick's character, and that's what I really like the most about John Wick Chapter 2, and the ending does act like it's going to get a third movie, and I hope that third movie does not disappoint like this movie did not. So yeah, John Wick Chapter 2 definitely deserves a spot on this list. Number 12, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This is another surprise of this year, and I was really looking forward to checking this one out, and I did. The story and the satire and the comedic elements and the drama was absolutely well told, and it doesn't have any slow pacing. And I think when Fox Searchlight Pictures released this film, it was definitely one of the more uplifting films, or not really uplifting, I would say more entertaining, because this movie, I wasn't bored by it, and for the most part, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is certainly a great film. And yeah, me and my dad saw this, and for the most part, we were absolutely satisfied. Number 11, The Big Sick. Now, The Big Sick, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to see, but I did, and this kind of reminds me of 2011's 50-50, and for the most part, I would say this is on par with 50-50 as a great film. And The Big Sick had me both laughing and almost crying, because this is a heartfelt comedy drama film. And it doesn't have any of that lackluster, stupid humor that it has. No. The relationship between the main character and his girlfriend, as well as his girlfriend's parents, it definitely has heart to it, and the fact that this is a film based on a true story makes it all the more surprising. And the fact that the main actor in this movie was a part of the true story that this is based on. Number 10, Dunkirk. Surprised that this is really low on my list. Well, there were just 9 other films I liked a bit more. But nonetheless, Dunkirk is still an amazing movie. it focuses just on one story, and that's it. It doesn't focus on any of the side characters, which I would have liked to seen better characters, like character development or anything like that. But no, this focuses on one single thing. The whole movie without, this is basically just a whole war film. It just focuses on one story, focuses on the story, and then it ends, which I thought was absolutely... This is a beautiful looking movie. This is one of Christopher Nolan's best looking films since Interstellar, and this absolutely has, how do I put this? One of the best war films I've seen in quite some time, and probably one of the best war films of all time, I may not add. I can certainly say one thing: this is the best war film of the year. We got a couple more war films that came out this year, but I don't think any of them could have topped what Dunkirk has topped for me. Number 9, War for the Planet of the Apes. This is without a doubt my favorite in the trilogy for the Planet of the Apes films. This isn't actually a war, more like a battle, but for the most part, it's still, even though the title might be a little bit misleading, it still remains a great film, even if the title is a bit misleading or not. But still, War for the Planet of the Apes tells true story and emotion to Caesar and all his fellow apes, and its pacing, I thought, was very well done. And Andy Serkis is at his best with this as Caesar, as well as everybody else. Woody Harrelson, Steve Zahn as Bad Ape. I thought he did a surprisingly great job as Bad Ape. I thought he was funny at some parts too. And for the most part, War for the Planet of the Apes is still an unforgettable experience I will have in the theater, and I have it on Blu-ray now, and the experience will be even better now that I have it in 4K. But yeah, War for the Planet of the Apes is an absolute masterpiece, and I still think it's one of the best of the year. Number 8, It. It was... Wow, guys, I could not believe how good this movie was. Me and my dad could not stop talking about how great it was. This film was both scary, funny, heartfelt, and everything I wanted out of a remake. Or a remake-ish, because this wasn't based off a movie, it was based off a miniseries. But it has everything that it should have. And you know, Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the Dancing Clown, he does an absolutely phenomenal job, and for the most part, it is one of the best horror films I've seen this decade. It's both scary and has very memorable characters, and it improves on many things that the miniseries could not get right. Number 7, The Shape of Water. This is the one film that I did not want to miss this year, and I'm glad I didn't. This is Guillermo del Toro's best film since Pan's Labyrinth, and this is absolutely a beautiful film. And Sally Hawkins' performance, like I mentioned in my After I Saw video of this, she gives her best performance yet. I think, I would say this is her best performance. Yeah, I would. And her relationship with this creature, because the creature was not a bad guy to begin with. He was a gentle, scared creature. And when Sally Hawkins relates to the creature, it is actually heartfelt. And given her take that it doesn't seem like it would not be weird, but it wasn't weird at all. It was very uplifting. And I'm glad Guillermo del Toro gave us this film. Sorry, my thing keeps on sliding out. Number 6, Blade Runner 2049. One of my most anticipated movies of the year. I was really looking forward to this movie ever since the trailer was released in December of 2016. And I'm glad this movie did not disappoint at all. This is Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling at one of their most finest. And I might like this a bit more than the original. I'm glad that it was not a disappointment. I mean, it's stylish, it's beautiful, it's very well acted, and Denis Villeneuve directed the hell out of this movie, because this movie was absolutely phenomenal, both telling its story and Ryan Gosling's new character in this movie. This isn't a film that wants to start a new franchise. It just wants to be its own movie. And that's what I That's what I think is best to say about Blade Runner 2049, is that its own movie. And Denis Villeneuve, this is probably my favorite film by Denis Villeneuve. And that's saying a lot right there. Number 5, Lady Bird. This is another film that surprised me. Lady Bird is certainly more of a character film. It's both funny, it's both dramatic, and it both has a relationship between the mother and the daughter. And I thought it was very, very well told. I mean, this wasn't a romance film by any means. And, Lady Bird does get with a lot of guys in this movie, which you'll see a lot throughout the film. But this is her life, and it tells the story of her life and the relationship between her mother. And that was really surprising. I did not expect the film to be this good, and it really was this good, and I highly suggest checking out Lady Bird. Alright, top 4, here we go. Number 4, Get Out. Oh my god, this made number 1 on my favorite horror movies of the year, and it still is one of the best horror films I've seen this decade. Jordan Peele directing this movie was a big surprise, and I cannot believe how well he directed this movie. It's well told, and a main character himself does an amazing job. He knows how to tell a story, and an original story for the most part, because I wasn't too sure about going into this film, but really, after walking out, I was just like amazed of how Jordan Peele directed this film, and I cannot wait to see what he does in the future. Get Out is certainly a masterpiece, and I cannot wait to see what Jordan Peele does next with his directing career. Number 3, oh boy, here we go. Number 3, The Disaster Artist. I cannot believe how high I put this on my list, but The Disaster Artist deserves it. This is both a funny, heartfelt friendship movie. This is about the friendship between Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero. James Franco as Tommy Wiseau, he is amazing and funny. This is how you make another film like Ed Wood. I mean, Ed Wood was also great. I actually might like this a bit more than Ed Wood, but for the most part, The Disaster Artist, also I love the stuff that happens that reminds me of The Room. The stuff that they get right about what happens in The Room. And for the most part, the way they shot it, the way the characters were done, it was absolutely amazing, and I'm glad that The Disaster Artist did not disappoint. Alright guys, what's my number 2 and what's my number 1? Alright guys, number 2. Number 2 is Logan. That's right guys, this isn't number 1 on my list, but Logan is still... This is what I wanted this whole time out of a Wolverine film. Not X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was god-awful. Not the Wolverine, which was good, but really should have been R-rated. No. This is definitely the goodbye to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. This is everything I wanted. As soon as Wolverine kept slicing and dicing bad guys, that made me feel so good, because just seeing that just made everything that the Wolverine character should have been doing throughout the entire X-Men movie. But of course, I had to get the kids in there. But no, not a kids movie. This is not a kids movie. And the little girl in this movie, she also does a phenomenal job as well. And this kind of reminds me of The Last of Us a little bit. And if this was a Last of Us movie, then it would probably be the best video game movie of all time, but no, guys, this is The Last of Us mixed with the Wolverine, and they did it perfectly in this. Alright, guys, what is my number 1 movie of the year? What is it? Alright, guys. Oh boy, I cannot wait to talk about this movie. Alright, guys, here we go. My number 1 movie of 2017 is Baby Driver. That's right, guys, Baby Driver. This has been my favorite movie of the year since I saw it in the theaters. I just knew this would take my number 1 spot, and it absolutely is my favorite of the year. This is a fast-paced, well-told, and gorgeous and directorial, amazing, what should I say, direction for Edgar Wright, and this is probably my favorite Edgar Wright film since Shaun of the Dead. He knows how to direct movies. And I can say Ansel Elgort as Baby, he is definitely one of the most memorable characters of 2017 for film. And the action and the way it's paced. I saw this movie twice now. Once in the theater and on Blu-ray. And the soundtrack too. I could listen to the soundtrack all day. It never gets old. Was he slow? Was he slow? Well, I'll certainly say one thing. This movie was not slow at all. And that's why, guys, Baby Driver takes my spot for the best movie of 2017. Oh my god. I talked about 15 great films. And apparently the year isn't over yet. Hopefully tomorrow, I'll be making my list for the top 10 worst movies of 2017. Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to do top 10 this time because, yeah, I cannot wait to talk about those pieces of crap tomorrow. But anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for another great year of some amazing movies. And I cannot wait to see what happens next year. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching my picks for the best films of 2017. And I'll see you guys later. Word out.